What's up, guys? So this actually just happened, and it's astounding how, no matter how much I say I've grown, um, quite honestly, it's still, you know, there's still always some work to do, but I feel like I've improved. So long story short, we had a little bit of an argument when I went down for dinner, and you know how they say that when you're emotional, you can't think logically. So a lot of the times I think I'll be thinking logically, but I'll be so heated and angry. And so I've been starting to do this more and more. This has been going on for quite a while, but I've really starting to do it more and more. Quite frankly, it was really just a matter of me realizing it in the moment and saying to myself, let's test it out. Rather than chase after my mom and continue arguing, let's just logically let it die down to really see if this is that big a deal. Because constantly in the moment, just like this time, when I was in the moment, I was like, this is like the most. This is really important, and I've calmed down slightly. It's been about 10-20 minutes. And I decided, you know what, just calm down. I want you to logically type this up. And at the time, I was thinking of doing it to sort of, print it out and show my mom and be like, haha, it all logically makes sense. But now that I've calmed down, why don't you guys figure it out for yourself? I still think, from a logical perspective, she was in the wrong, but I'll let you guys determine if it is. I have it all typed up here, and now that I've cooled down, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but at the same time, I think there were some mistakes made in the process. So first, I'm going to read the full script of what I feel like is everything that occurred. It's really short. It's about a page. Okay, it's not that short. But I don't know. Try this out for yourself. I mean, it's really hard, but it's a new thing. Like when you anything that involves chemicals in your body, whether it's anger, temper, hormones, it has such a huge effect. Anyways, there's the full script and then what I believe my mom experienced. I'm going to read the full script first. I went to eat dinner. I asked Angela and Joyce, my little sisters, they're in 5th grade, if they wanted any drinks. Joyce responded she wanted apple juice. Angela gave me a funny look and did not respond at all after waiting for a while. I opened the refrigerator. By the way, Angela, she's starting to do that more and more. She likes to push my buttons. Angela runs and gets the apple juice before I can and says, I will get some apple juice. Initially, I think she's being nice, but she is once again trying to disrespect me, as shown by her body language. She runs away from me, from the tables and the cups and myself, while holding the apple juice container upside down. The cap is not screwed on correctly, some of it splashes out. Angela blames me for this. She says someone did not screw the cap on correctly from earlier and says it was me. She assumes it is me just to push my buttons more, as can be shown by the way she says that through her body language. Okay, so reading it back, it seems kind of, stupid. Like it all started from this little apple juice container, but in the moment, it was like, I mean, these are my family. I hang around them constantly. It was almost like I was at work. I can't, that disrespect, I couldn't handle it. But reading it back, I mean, she is in 5th grade, but still, she pushes my buttons. Anyhow, I get outraged. She does this, so I play along and sarcastically say, yes, I did that on purpose because I knew you would run away from me with the apple juice upside down. By the way, I wrote this whole thing as logical as I can, so I try to be as objective as I can. So I try to display myself in the worst way as well at times, just to keep it as objective and as logical as possible, so I could really just read it and, after I've cooled down and see if I'm really at fault. She responds with, "See, I knew it. You are always mean." A very typical response from her. She constantly calls me mean in serious and annoyed tones. Now, she's in fifth grade, but she's a logical person. She talks and she just disrespects me a lot, I think. Um, and maybe I am playing it up. She doesn't disrespect me that often. She still does, though. Um, and she does stuff like this. Um, I angrily respond with a very logical statement, but say it with an angry outburst. How can I be mean when all I was trying to do was get some apple juice for you guys? How could I have possibly known you would have ran with the apple juice upside down? I then say something like, "You are constantly disrespecting me when I'm trying to be nice to you. You're a spoiled brat." My mom appears and says, "You are scaring her. She is not spoiled." I respond with, "Okay, even if she wasn't spoiled, she cannot constantly disrespect." She interrupts me and says, "She's afraid of you. All three of your sisters are afraid of you." I think about it, but then it does not make sense because Angela is outspoken and oftentimes disrespecting me by calling me mean. Even if it were true, I still deserve some respect. I tell her this, but mid-sentence, she leaves. By she, I mean my mom. My mom deliberately leaves the scene and runs upstairs. I resist the urge to follow her and establish my point. She does not allow me to finish my point unless I chase her around like many times before. She runs from a logical discussion or debate and does not stay around to hear my point. You know, this actually seems quite eloquently written. I didn't know I wrote so well. When I wrote it, I thought it was in like caveman terms. I'm not a essay or English major. Sure, it's definitely not Shakespeare, but I thought it was fairly well written. I think it's from all the audiobooks I read. Anyhow, audiobooks I listen to, not read. So that was end full scene. Assessing it from a more cooled down perspective, I don't think I'm completely cooled down. Maybe I am. You know, I still think, you know, I've cooled down a lot, and I feel like as again I've already restated how it's not really that big a scene as I once thought 20 minutes ago, but still I feel my mom was she did some stuff she shouldn't have done. I still think my little sisters are a little spoiled, but I really could care less if my mom thinks they aren't. You know what? I'll let it slide. You know what? As far as her being spoiled, I'll let it slide. I'll give her that. But you know what? I'll even give her the fact that she walked away from me while I'm trying to explain myself. Maybe I was a little angry or outraged. Maybe she had worked really hard from work and just wasn't having it. I'll give her that as well. So if we logically just put all of this aside, what do we have left? I think I'm going to give her one more thing. She says I'm scaring her and that I'm probably scaring all of my other sisters. I'll give her that. You know what? Let's just say I'm angry and my outrage is just too scary for them, and I'll give her all three of these points. Just hypothetically. Then that means the only thing I would be concerned about in this would be the fact that she doesn't allow me an opportunity to explain myself or an opportunity to fix the situation. She's literally giving my little sister free reins to continue the abuse towards me. And coming from a logical mindset, from all I've learned through my self-improvement readings online, so be it. I think if that's the case, my options are either to go back to her and try and explain this to her in a cool down way, hopefully not in an outrage way, and show her, you know what, I'm going to give you all these points, but I do feel you should have given me the chance to sort of sort this out and maybe you should have listened to me and sort of told my little sister not to disrespect me constantly like that. Um, and she does that. She's like, "You're mean. You're mean," and it all started from me saying, "You know what? Hey, do you little sisters want something to drink? I'll gladly take my time and energy to pour out some drinks for you guys." And I don't think that's too much to ask for just a nice response from my family members. But unfortunately, my mom was unwilling to do that. In certain factions, I think she's a good mom. She works really hard, makes money for the family, and she works until very late into the night. By that I mean like 6 or 7 p.m. So still, still it's kind of strange. It really is. Finally, I'm going to read what I think my mom experienced. She came home from work, called me down for dinner, saw me fighting with my little sister, and then the rest I've already read, but it goes, I angrily respond with a very logical statement, but say it with an angry outburst. How can I be mean when all I was trying to do was get some juice for you guys, and how could I possibly known you would have ran away with the apple juice upside down? You're constantly disrespecting me when I'm trying to be nice to you. You're a spoiled brat. My mom appears and says, you're scaring her. She's not spoiled. I respond, okay, even if she wasn't spoiled, she cannot constantly disrespect. She interrupts me and says, she's afraid of you. All three of your sisters are afraid of you. I think about it, but then it does not make sense because Angela is outspoken, blah, 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 blah. And then my mom deliberately leaves the scene and runs upstairs. This sounds like something out of like some sort of movie where the father is abusive, but that's not the case. My dad is not. He doesn't physically hit my mom or do anything like that. So any of you guys sort of logically, extrapolating stuff you shouldn't be extrapolating from this, from anything from this, like, oh, your mom must have psychological problems because the dad probably abuses. No, that's not the case. But let me. I think from reading this, I think my two options are to sort of sit this down with my mom and blah 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 reason it out, or through my self-help and self-improvement that I've read. Quite honestly, I don't actually read that much self-improvement. It's all from like dating advice, which actually like the really good dating advice you get out there, it actually goes all back to life, like self-improvement in life overall. So for instance, one of the big things that's constantly touted is stop worrying about stuff you can't change and do stuff you can change. So like if a girl rejects you, like you can only do so much, like you can only try so hard. Stop wasting hours of your precious life, because I mean every second your life goes away. I mean if you waste an hour crying over something, that is an hour taken away from that time in your deathbed. And you guys have all seen the movies where the guy is running to reach his father on his deathbed and he misses it by a second. I mean, if you spend an hour crying over something you can't change, that's like an hour taken away from your deathbed time. So basically, long story short, my two big options are to talk to my mom and try and convince her to fix my little sister's attitude, which will be tough. I do think my mom has some issues. She'll never admit it. She'll appear exceptionally normal to everyone else. Not much can be done. On the other hand, I can do what I should do, which is fix it myself and stop complaining. And by that, I could have definitely done a lot of things differently. I could have sort of responded a lot nicer. I shouldn't have burst out in anger and outrage, just so crazily. I could have tried to logically sort of reason with her, like, this is how, like, I could have said, like, Angela, I was just trying to get something to drink for you. I don't think that's mean, and continued from there. And now I'm thinking about all the parenting skills I learned when I was a psych research assistant. I worked in the psychology lab in college, and now I'm just remembering all the parenting skills, and it's stupid how you learn these things and you never implement them. So that's a lesson for all you folks. That's all, and I don't know. I think reading this, some of you guys might be like, you might think, okay, that was a very logical assessment, and I think you were in the wrong. I mean, you were in the right will in certain ways, or you may say I was in complete wrong. But I feel like a lot of people would think all you were trying to do was get some apple juice, and you trying to get apple juice for others when you didn't have to. I was trying to be selfless, and it just started from this disrespect. So yeah, I could have tried to teach my sisters in a better way instead of screaming in outrage. And looking back, I mean, I guess I overreacted because I mean, sure, she called me mean. She constantly calls me mean and disrespects me. And sure, I should get a certain level of respect every now and then from family members. But how do you think I should have approached it? Should I just not have gotten angry at all, which is really hard to do, but just, you know, lead by example and explain to her I'm just trying to be selfless and help you guys out, and get along with it. And it's crazy how these things spark from something so simple. I really don't know. I feel like at times my mom's trying to like push my buttons on purpose too. She throws in these things like very melodramatically. Your sisters are scared of you, and then she just walks off. Like, what is that? They're not even scared of me. Come on. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe I do get pretty outrageous. So that's about it. If you liked it, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. It's completely free. For more videos in the future, I have this whole thing typed and written out. Will I include this in the video description? Maybe, maybe not. I haven't decided yet. I have it saved on another computer elsewhere. I don't know. But I read it to you guys. And I want to end with one last final point, but I can't. I just lost my train of thought. One last very important piece of mind. I guess it's just crazy how things can spark from something so simple. I'm a little confused if I did anything wrong here, if it's really a big issue, if I should really do something now about it or in the future, or not anything at all. And this goes back to a few rare instances, okay, not that rare, but a few instances in my life where peers, not little siblings, peers, they're the type of people who sort of disrespected me. And it goes back to this saying, I can't remember who it's from, I feel like it's from a lot of people. It went something along the lines of, you get disrespected because you let people disrespect you. And I think in certain ways it's true, you know. A lot of times in my life I let certain things slide because I wasn't really sure. Like, it was always very subtle to the point where it was like, are they really disrespecting me? I really can't tell. And it got very obvious to them, but to me I was just unsure. And then like, it was always like that. It was always like they would be like laughing, or it'd be some like inside joke, and these were people either I went to school with, or were in my dormitory. And if I could go back and do it again with everything I've learned now, quite honestly, like, I don't know if I could have changed much. Because I mean, a lot of things are just really tough to get by. For instance, for me, I don't want to make this a video on something else, but for instance, just real quick, I remember this one instance. The group I hang around during middle school, because it was the only group that really accepted me, or I felt that I was worthy of like entering. That group basically also there's also the fact that I didn't really click with a lot of other groups. But yeah, anyhow, that group, there's this one phase where they were dicks to me. They were like they were making like inside jokes about me, and they were laughing at me, and I wasn't really sure why. It was a ton of disrespect. And if I could do that again, like, I guess I would try and implement that. Don't let people disrespect you. Like, but what could I have done there? Could I have fought them all? Should I have burst out in anger again? Or should I have just left that group and found something else? I think the third one was probably the best option, but I was at a low social class at that point where it was like, it was really, I don't know if I could have, but I think, if I would have gone back, that's what I would have tried. No, it would have been easy. No, I am not some Superman who's grown so much that I could easily get past that. Probably I would do the third one, but it'd be really, really tough to go through a lot of rejections from other cliques that wouldn't let me in or be friends with me back then. But I would have done that. What I chose to do back then was the angry sort of outburst thing. And long story short, they were constantly doing like these inside jokes and excluding me. So I got fed up. I didn't know what was going on, and it's quite a story. But long story short, I missed my kick. It was like a flying kick, and it was unintentional. I went in I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I ran up to him and I'm like, I'm gonna do a flying kick, just out of the blue. I missed completely. Then I spun around and punched him in his face, and then I ran away. And that cooled things for a while, but then the group was like, they reacted severely wrong. They were like, well, just one of the members was like, now no one likes you for doing that. And I thought about it, and I'm looking back at it, and I'm like, okay, that was just a whole group I shouldn't have been around at all in the first place, because they were all dicks. But now I've gotten through it, and yeah. So yeah, you learn from certain stuff. Anyhow, as always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.